Should I start, Anthony? Will you put it on, Annika?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I think we must get going, Nico. I mean, it's in everyone's interest.
Right. Let me quickly just kick off, and then I will hand over to you. I think we didn't have an agenda because we actually wanted to just capitalize on the circular that went out, the ASPASA environmental dry run for audits, which we sent out earlier on the 29th of April. And I think where we are now, and this won't be a long meeting, and I'll hand over to Anthony because he's our chairman for the subcommittee, and he's done a lot of work, and we had a very good dry run. But all that I want to say is that number one, we're just sticking to the rules of teams. Number two is we're having no collusion. But I think all that I want to ask at this stage, and Anthony will handle the rest, is that we need to find out from the companies when they want to start with the audits, because it's no use us appointing an auditor and we don't have work for the auditor. I mean, we had problems with the previous auditor. She didn't have an income, and she was bargaining on our income, and then COVID came, and then she got upset with me. But I could do nothing. We had even our health and safety guys sat at home for how many months without income. But they're consultants, so they should know that. But in the document that we sent out, we suggested that maybe we start maybe the last quarter of this year or the first quarter of next year. But we need to have that input as quick as possible so that we can start. The details of how the audit will work, I'm going to leave it to Anthony. And if needed, I will also chip in. But nothing dramatic. I just said to one of the senior guys the other day, the operational guys will enjoy the new way we're going to do it. We're moving away from the, what do you call those birds at the seagulls, where they fly in, they eat your food, and they crap on you and they fly out. Now, those days are over. I think environmental issues are becoming a serious problem. And we were talking when we were at the start of this meeting, is that communities are starting to get very involved in community issues on mining. I sit in Mpumalanga, and it's gone so far that we're having constant road blockages and problems from all over. And it's very interesting that communities aren't the people that we assume they are. We're starting to find out that the communities like farmers, and we were talking about it, are going to stop trucks, mining trucks, for example, on the roads because they're damaging the roads and people are getting killed. The argument from the community is, the farming community is, those mines opened, and how did the government allow them to open if all their minerals is transported by road while there's a railway system? So that's what's happening in Mpumalanga. So the farmers are threatening to stop all vehicles, mining vehicles, for a while, and then see how quickly the mines fix the places. So when we talk about communities, it's little towns that are also getting cut full of people just demolishing everything. So we're going to have to, we're going to have to get our act together. And Anthony will tell you about the dry run we had down in Nelspruit, which went exceptionally well. And we were hosted by AfriSam, and the guy, our quarry manager there, was excellent. Anthony, can I hand over to you and ask if you want me to say anything else? But I'm going to click out.
Thanks, Nico. Yeah, I think you've actually put it very nicely there. Just a correction, it was AfriMat, Dingwall with Letitia and her team, where we did the dry run. Folks, I'm going to share, I've got a few slides here. I just want to share it. And then we can get going. Has it come up yet?
Yes, I can see clearly, Anthony.
Yes, you can open it a bit bigger. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I know for the older generation, which we're all part of now. Okay, folks. Yeah, good morning, and thank you for attending. The few people that are here. A quick introduction. This is not going to be terribly long. The quick introduction was we had a dry run audit, which we held at Afrimat Dingwall Quarry on April 15th. Thanks to the guys there. We need to just say thank you to Afrimat. They really made us feel we're really very hospitable and did a good job of the day. There were 9 people on site, and quite a few folk attended remotely, which was a good thing because the new audits are going to be done, or part of it, at least the one section, will be done remotely. So it gave everyone a good idea of how it was going to operate. Afrimat looked after us, gave us nice refreshments. Lafarge gave us some lunch as well, so thank you to those guys. The environmental audit process, which a lot of you have been involved with now during our subcommittee process. We revised it in conjunction with the industry. Navashni, you know very much about it. You were part of it as well. So that was the basis on which we worked. And then as we went through it, certain things changed. I got some very good feedback, not from a lot of people, but the guys who did give us feedback, it was very good feedback. The quality was very good. And ASPASA had identified the need to assist the sites with compliance and the need for compliance. And as Nico very rightly said, this whole process and the way forward will be, I almost want to say, a more consultative type of audit instead of a punitive type of audit. So we've spoken about the meetings. It's been ample opportunity for everybody to put the input, to give us input, and to make their comments known. There have been some conflicting opinions. So we took the middle road in those cases. It wasn't a lot. There were a few, but generally it was very, very good input. There was a lot of repetition in places which we took out. So we tried to streamline this audit, and I think just to put everyone's mind at rest, if we find during the process that there are things that need to be changed, we will certainly do so. We just need to be careful that we don't detriment anybody while doing it. Refreshing the memory was based on the generic flow process of operations. Irrespective of what you are mining, you're going to be doing the same things in one way or another. So the remote audit would ideally be the first block on the top left-hand side of your screen. That would normally be the sort of remote audit. And that's where the heart of this thing lies. There's a lot of legalities in there, a lot of compliance issues. And that's why you're able to do it remotely. It's very simple. And then the others would be more of the on-site, the physical audit, which is the second part of the audit process. So those were the guys that were on site the day of the audit. We had some visitors from the Clay Brick Association and one of the clay brick manufacturers, Federalis Stena, who came to have a look, just to see. They wanted to see how we operate and the level. And what was interesting with them was that when they got to the audit, they knew everything. And when they left there, they realized they actually didn't know everything, and they were very, very impressed with what we did. So it was a nice measure to see from a completely unbiased third party what the impression was of the audit. I think that was a good thing for us. As I said, the dry run was done on 15th of April. We did the audit realistically. It was absolutely as an audit would be. There was no nice and soft and okay, we look, pretend. It was an actual audit that was done, because we wanted to get a true reflection of what the audit would do and what the site was. And both the we did both the sections, the remote and the physical section. So it was quite intense. I think the poor quarry guys, we arrived there in the morning, and they had a surprise visit from one of their directors, and 10 minutes later the DMR arrived as an unannounced visit as well. So the poor quarry manager, he had a hell of a day, but he handled it very well, and we just accommodated the various parties, and that all worked very well. The site was well represented, presented by AfriMat. They were very enthusiastic about their participation, and I think, you know, all hats off to those guys. It's never nice being part of a test run, because you don't know what to expect. But they presented their site well, and they involved themselves in the audit. Was there someone wanted to say something there? No? Yeah. We did the remote section with the relevant documentation, and then the manager's presentation. We actually started off with the manager's presentation, which is the format which we've designed. And folks, it's the importance of that presentation really needs to be underlined. All of us realized there's such a huge part of the audit that is the questions that are answered if the manager does the correct presentation. And if you think back to the original brief that we were given, it was that the managers have a knowledge of what is going on environmentally, and the EIAs and the EMPs and all their legal, you know, compliance documentation. So it came out very strongly. The manager, Leonard, he did a good job. He really did. He was on the mark and gave us a very nice presentation there. The outcome of the audit, it was unanimously agreed that the outcome was realistic. It allowed for improvement at a future audit. It wasn't a 98% scoring. I mean, we all know that those were not realistic. They scored well. I think it was a good reflection of the site and what they had done. The various gaps, some of them are things that we highlighted. And we'd scored those important things quite highly. If you remember on the thing, we said the specific areas will be rated highly because they are critical to the operation being allowed to operate. We then went on to the physical audit, did a nice walk around, had a look at things, and there were areas of non-compliance. I mean, it's still a very relatively new site. They had a lot of damage with our recent cyclones, so the guys had been fixing up and doing what they did. It showed one of the big things that we saw there was the water management, and the whole interaction in the water system, stormwater management, etc. It was well demonstrated, and I think we were able to give a lot of good input and constructive criticism on certain areas there. Again, the outcome there was realistic, and it was unanimously agreed that it was a good outcome, again, it wasn't the 90%ers that we were used to. So the goal, which we probably should have said in the beginning of the thing, is to achieve environmental compliance for all ASPASA member operations. That is now up to the various members who participate in the audit process, and we'll speak about that again just now. We also wanted to achieve a user-friendly and a practical compliance audit. I think we've done that. And certainly the feedback that we had from all parties was positive in that field. And one of the main goals was to equip the site managers to be able to deal with the authorities and interested and affected stakeholders. Again, the feedback we got there from the managers themselves and from the various people involved in the process was that it has certainly enhanced their knowledge and made them a lot more aware of the requirements that the environmental side of things will have. So I think we've achieved what we wanted to there in terms of this audit. Some of your managers may not quite like it because they are forced to go and find out what the information is and have a knowledge. And they've actually got to have quite I wouldn't say a specialist level knowledge, but they've definitely got to have a working knowledge of the environmental processes and requirements in order to get a result in this audit. So way forward, the proposed audit schedule has been put out. I think you've all seen it, but as Nico rightly said in the beginning, it's dependent on the number of people who are going to participate and who are going to not only participate but commit to the times that have been set out. So once that has been determined, an auditor, will be able to be appointed. Precisely what Nico said. And once that's done, then obviously the dates will be, the program will be finalized. Just an idea, if you hadn't seen the proposed schedule, that's what was proposed. First, quarter 3 and 4 for 2021 was proposed to do 40 remote audits, and then quarter 1 and 2 in 2022 to do 40 remote audits, and quarter 3 and 4 in 2022 to do 40 physical audits. And so the process will just continue, as we go along. The reason why is really out for discussion as well. If yeah.
Sorry, you break up and then we miss a piece. I don't know if it's me or...
Sorry. Yeah, we far away here in Mpumalanga. I'll just go through that again. The first quarter 3 and 4 in 2021, which was the proposed schedule, was to do 40 remotes, and then quarter 1 and 2 for 2022 to do another 40 remotes. These numbers can be changed. They can go up. They can't come down. 2022 quarter 3 and 4 to start with the physical audits, and there again 40 was the number. And the reason why we scheduled that for the second half of 2022 is really because of COVID, the threat of COVID and then the third wave, etc. So we're trying to mitigate the risk to sites. So in conclusion, I think the revised environmental audit was considered a success by everyone. I certainly thought, and looking at it from a quarry manager's perspective and someone who's been involved with it for quite a while, to me it worked well. Nico, I think, was also very impressed. Letitia, she was very impressed, and everyone that was involved there actually thought it was a good document, and the process was beneficial to them. The site also indicated that they benefited, and the audit adds value to participating sites. All members are encouraged to participate, and please, for the way forward, please contact Nico for more details on the audits, and let's get commitment going so that we can get this going and get people compliant. Folks, that's my little bundle. For any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Any questions,
It's gone
guys?
very quiet. It's gone very quiet. Let's hear.
Can I, if there's, I don't know if there's any questions. Is Andre, are you wanting a question? I can't see hands, so sorry.
Navashni, your opinions there, your feelings?
Yeah, I think it's fine, Anthony. If the dry run went well, then it stands in good faith that when these audits do start up again, that it's going to go just as well at the various sites. I think we just need to confirm whether it is going to be Q3 and Q4 this year, or whether we start one time next year.
Yeah. I think the thing is, it all depends on the participating companies now, and I know we've sort of playing this tune a bit, but really everyone needs to make some form of commitment to ASPASA, so that they can organize and get their things organized.
Anthony, just tying up with that comment that you just made, I was just thinking now that basically the membership of ASPASA is two ways. That if you're a member of ASPASA, you shall undergo a health and safety audit, and you shall undergo environmental audit. That's the part of the constitution. The thing is, and I just want to recap a little bit. In the old days, we could not go to the DMRE, or it was the Department of Mineral Resources then, and go and complain about illegal mining if our own house was not in order. And the leaders on the industry at that stage then said, well, let us all do health and safety and environmental audits, and then when we do go and complain, at least we've done something. We can't go and complain and point finger when our own house is still dirty. So this thing is definitely going to become, as we said right at the beginning, and a lot of the people that are in now weren't in then, but environmental is going to become a major problem in the future with the communities. And there's people that are interested in causing problems for mines. I jokingly said the other day to one of my guys, I won't repeat the words he used afterwards. I said, so if ASPASA fires me, I'll have great fun running around causing problems and closing down mines, because I think it's going to be very easy to cause problems if you know a little bit. But there's people that know a lot that are running around and advising communities and so forth. So what we're trying to do at ASPASA is to make sure that the operation, and we saw it in Nelspruit, that the operation, when it gets attacked, and I use that kindly, attacked by community storming in there and saying, what you're doing here and there, the manager is confident to stand up and say, well, here's a presentation, I'll show you what we're doing here. And it normally keeps people quiet after that. So it's crucial that we look at this thing. I think what Navashni said, and I think I've spoken to Anthony about it, I see in India there's problems and stuff like that. Maybe we should all agree, and I want to put it forward as a proposal, that we all agree that from 1 Jan we start and we run flat out then next year, because we're now going to start, appoint somebody, and then they come and they lock us down again, or whatever they call it, and then we all bugger around and everything is not lacquer. So I just want to propose, we put it the third, fourth quarter, but I don't think we're going to make it that maybe the fourth quarter. But we need input from other people to tell us how you feel about us starting maybe the last quarter, or all start 1 Jan next year. So maybe that's what we would like input, and we need somebody to send us dates and stuff. I see there's a hand. Vernon?
Yeah, Nico, I think I'll agree with starting next year, first quarter, because on my side, I mean, because it's the new way of going forward and how we're going to do the audits. This time will give me time to really also just to introduce the managers to the new format and the new understanding and how things will get done. So I will agree with next year, starting the audits next year, and then. But I know we say first and second quarter for the the online audits, but I might have to split it over a period of time. But I mean, I will work out the schedule and I'll communicate that with you and the team.
Thanks, Vernon. I think that's very positive. And Vashni?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Vernon as well. I think, we're still recovering from this whole COVID fatigue that everybody's currently experiencing. So I think we just need a bit of time just to get over this year and then to start next year fresh, hit the ground running kind of thing. My only request, though, is that if there has been any changes to the ASPASA remote audit format, that it gets after the dry run, that is. So you would have picked up maybe a few inconsistencies or repetitions in the dry run, which you are now addressing. Once the document is finalized, then if you can please circulate it to everybody so that we have the final document, we know what to expect from the audit going forward, etc., etc.
I think that's fair. That request is fair, Navashni. I think Anthony and myself will sit down and do a bit more. The thing that really impressed me as an outsider that's not running a quarry, and really, if we have to go and do a few help you guys, maybe if you say you can get all your managers together in a region and we go and spend time, is that presentation the manager does. That thing is so crucial because that says it all and it summarizes it. And I was very impressed because I've never seen us do that. The auditor just came in and jumped on everybody and then went out. But that's so good because the guy was so committed. And he said, oh, I should have put this in and I should have put that in. And, I'll put that in. He was so committed. I was very impressed. And I think that's what we need to get the rest of this year is Navashni and Anthony, maybe we need to maybe do a little bit of training. And it might be physical training where we go and sit, or we can do a Teams meeting on what the managers should do. Because once they pull that one through, then they understand the process. I think that's crucial, in my view. Anthony?
Yeah, Nika, I think it's very, very valid. And I think Navashni also brought up a very good point here, the COVID fatigue. Everyone is a bit worn down by this thing. I think we could actually do a workshop, a Teams workshop with everyone because it's so much more practical remotely. And I can go through, what an ideal presentation should consist of. What we don't want to do, Navashni, and Nico and I actually had quite an in-depth discussion about this. We don't want to spoon feed the managers. The guys are competent people. They must. You want their own style and take on what they do. So what we would really, do is to give them the major points. And from an audit perspective, it was very nice to see some of the entrepreneurial ideas that the guys had come up with in this particular instance. So, you don't want to be too prescriptive, but at the same time, we need to be able to give the guys a bit of guidance so that they get the maximum benefit out of this audit. Just another point and this was Vernon. Vernon, you mentioned, you're not sure if it must all be done in Q1 and Q2. That is really just an idea. If you decide that you want to spread it over the year, that's fine. You can decide it as you like. The main point is that we get a commitment from you that then they can continue with it. So just those 2 points I wanted to raise.
Okay, no, agree with it. That's fine.
Thanks. Just to add on to that, Vernon and Anthony, is what we need to do is just to make sure when you guys, let's say AfriSam says they want the following to be done, and AfriMat says they want to do, if we could do it in regions. So if Vernon says the AfriSam sites in KZN is going to be done in this period, that when the auditor goes there, at least he does, for 4 or 5 for that week, and not go down every second week, because then it adds huge cost to the poor auditor, because we're only going to pay a fee for a quarry. We're not going to pay a fee. In the old days, when I took over, when I started here, we were paying for food, wine, calamari, and for the work. Now it's per audit. So we need to coordinate that and maybe say a month, 1 month, we're going to Natal or wherever.
Yeah, I think we just need to be realistic with the guy that's going to do the audit. So he obviously would want to do as much as he possibly can in a specific region. Once the commitment has been given, the auditor will set up his program and communicate with the various people. So I think that it's quite simple. It'll very much like Marius does. He will talk to you, and if you can't make it, then we reschedule. But let's try and do it for practical reasons as well.
So when I send a note out, Anthony, can I say that we had this meeting and we confirmed that we're starting in I call it 1 Jan, or in the next year? Would that be fair to say that?
I think pretty much so, unless there are, unless there's anyone that really wants to get cracking and it's worthwhile. I think maybe you might have 1 or 2 people wanting Q4, but it seems like pretty much unanimous that we're going to go to 2022 starting January. So let's work on there.
Okay, then I will also set up a date for a Teams meeting, and we'll also ask our quarry manager at Afrimat down in Nelspruit to also participate in that, because he had practical experience and help you. Most probably not going to be in May, maybe June, July. Is that fine that we have a workshop then?
Nico, it's Vernon. Yes, I will agree we have it then, but maybe we should have like 2 workshops and give because our works managers really different sites to attend. So I would say if we have 2 of those meetings, that will be great.
Excellent. I agree. Excellent. Well, because the guy misses it, he's got something else on, and if he misses it, it's unfair then, shame. Yeah. I'll set up draft dates, circulate, and get the participation going. That'll be excellent. I don't know if there's anybody else that wants to make some serious comments, but otherwise, I think we will send out this recording, and we'll just confirm it in writing that we'll do 2 workshops and so forth. Yeah. Is that all right?
Nico, I just see Navashni also agrees with that.
Yes.
With Vernon's idea, where we do 2. So yeah, I think it's quite good.
Okay. Well, in that case, Anthony, unless you want to say something else, or somebody else wants to say something else, I think we've done well. We started off last year after COVID, and we started off with a bit of a fear how we're going to handle environmental. And I must say, things have developed, and we're moving away from the old way of doing it. I thought, and that's my perception, and tell me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I thought I got a lot of negative feedback, and I thought, we can't go on like that. And yeah, maybe in a year's time we're going to change the health and safety order too. I mean, who knows? But a lot of things are changing. So I think this way we're going to do very good to the managers, and we're going to show that they support it and not and so forth. All that I also know is that some of the companies at head office level have environmental on their board meetings. I've been told that, and I've been asked to make sure that happens. So yeah, Johan, welcome, Johan Pretorius. Johan, the mic is most probably muted.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello, Nico, can you hear me?
Yes. Are you well? Or first, are you well? For those who don't know, Johan had a very bad COVID attack. Very bad.
Thanks, Nico. Yes, no, I'm doing great. Thank you very much for asking. I have a little bit of swollen feet and chest pain still, but yes, I'm doing great. Thanks.
Thanks.
Sorry, I've missed the first 5 minutes of the meeting, but I have been listening since, and I agree with everything that was said and discussed so far. What I wanted to ask, and I don't know if this is a possibility, that the manager not be the only person to present this, let's say, this presentation, but that maybe a safety officer, sorry, a environmental officer in terms of internal appointments can assist, and maybe a supervisor or two, or a person in charge of, let's say, the workshop area or things like that can also add some value to this.
Can I answer? Just can I come in there, Johan? Yeah, I fully understand what you're saying. Now, the importance of the manager's presentation is that he must have a good understanding of what is going on. What we have found in the past is a lot of guys have never read their EMPs, and they honestly don't even know what's in their SLPs. So that's why the manager is really tasked to put forward his presentation or hers. There's nothing to stop them from having a second person or third person also contributing, but we need to be careful that we don't water this thing down. Otherwise, it's going to lose its importance. And, you know, I know what managers do. I'm also one, and you also one. If it gets a difficult thing and you've got someone, an environmental officer, then they do the presentation and you just sit there and nod your head. It's, you know, the environmental officers are there to assist the managers to understand. So just a bit of caution in that field, you know, because obviously we're trying to achieve what we originally set out to do.
Thanks, Anthony. Totally agree with you.
I think just to add to Anthony, Johan, and we've had it in the past, and even with health and safety, in some cases the manager's not even there, and he just says, "Oh, the environmental person will do the presentation," which we feel is wrong. But I think we've agreed now that the manager will do it. If he's got somebody who wants to add a few photos and talk about that, I think that's fine. But it's his task at the end of the day. Thanks.
Thanks, Nico.
You know, I think just to add on, sorry, chipping in here. For example, if the manager's got a project that they're running and he's got somebody who is dedicated to that specific project, great. You know, let the guy brag a bit, and you know, it's fantastic to hear that. But the guts of the thing, the core of the presentation must be done by the manager, so that he has an understanding and is familiar with what he would present. Because ultimately, when you get stakeholders and things knocking on your door, they're not going to be talking to the workshop guy. They want to talk to the 31A. They want that manager. So he must be able to be familiar with what is going on. Sorry, I'm taking a bit of time now, Nico. But Johan, just to give you a bit of background, and you know, it's the original idea was to equip the managers with, so that they are able to feel these questions and to handle situations where they would get involved in. It's not to penalize them. It's really it's almost a bit of a training exercise.
Right. Any other comments? Then otherwise we're going to close it off. Thanks for everybody agreeing with us. People, I just want to ask you, this is not an Anthony Bowens or a Nico Pinaar program or a Letitia van der Berg or an Afrimat program. It's our own program. And I must just say to you that we've always been ahead of most of the industries. If we look at what happened with the clay brick people, as Anthony said, the lady came there and wanted to come and tell us what to do. And when she left, she's now actually asked us to come and at some stage just visit them, tell them what they're not doing right. So we can most probably do that. We can actually feel proud that we've got so many people in this industry who support and participate and are part of it, because it's benefiting us all. So Andre, do you want to say something?
just like to say, okay, to everybody, I joined a bit late as well today. I missed the beginning. If I'll appreciate if the recording can be sent to me as well, then I can just, I've basically heard most of the conversation. But just to be a bit more updated, I'd appreciate if the recording can be sent to me as well.
Have we got your, from where are you, Andre?
Well, I'm from Sioli Brothers. I've actually been a bit semi-retired, but I joined the mining company again. Anthony and Nico and those guys should all still know me. I hope so.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, now that we know you from Cape Town, shame.
Yeah, from Cape Town, back in Cape Town again.
Okay.
Listen, Andre, it's going to cost you. Eh? If you go out and come back, you got to pay. But
I thought there's a catch somewhere. Thanks, Anthony.
Andre, Anneke will circulate the thing. If you don't get it, send your email to office@ASPASA and then you'll get it. Okay.
I will do so. Thanks very much.
Okay, guys.
Nico,
I think we've done enough.
Nico,
Yeah.
can I just have one more thing before? Sorry, and I'm hijacking you here. I just want to say to everybody that was involved in the process up to date, thank you very much, guys, for really making it our job quite easy. The input we got and it was really good to work with people that were so committed and so positive about the changes. So from my side as the chairman, thank you all very much for your inputs and participation. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks to everybody. Anneke, we're now all going to go out, if you don't mind. Thanks, eh? Bye.
Cheers, Nico. Bye-bye.